Let's go get him again.
This one right here, very unique test drive. As you can see, I got one of these crappy Lucky Scent samples where I actually unboxed the scent right here. I have a full-fledged bottle. I got this sample because I wanted to test it out before I pulled the trigger. Well, I got the bottle instead. So it's a rare occurrence. Let's talk about this one. It is often compared to one of my favorite designer releases recently, which is Gucci Guilty Absolute. Can Maurice, which is the nose behind both releases, take that same DNA and make it worth the price versus the Gucci that is going around 50 bucks right now? Let's find out. Fragrance family, welcome to the Ropes 08 channel. I'm your host, Mark. This series of Taking a Test Drive is where I test drive a scent through a sample. I wear the scent as much as the sample lets me. These Lucky Scent samples don't let me sample too much. They're a little stingy, but well, that's another video. It is my scent of the day today, and I'm going to give you as much detail as I can and give you my final thoughts on if I'll be buying it, getting another sample, or passing. You guys already know from the intro. I got a bottle. Now on to today's video. As the title suggests, we are talking about Dark Lord from the house of Kilian. Now let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one. It was released back in 2018. Concentrations Eau de Parfum. The nose behind this release is Alberto Maurice, famed perfumier, of course. Now the major notes to my nose were leather, vetiver, and the floral jasmine. So let's get on to my day with this scent. All right, so this one is my scent of the day. It's already on skin. I have to dry down here, but I will drain this little sample right here. There's a couple drops left here, and to remind me of that introduction. So Dark Lord, you're out of the game. Let's smell it. And upon first sniff of Dark Lord, you're met with a tamer, Gucci Guilty, leathery, oily, smoky composition. And when I mean tamer, I mean like the smoke toned down to almost nil. It has that leathery tone and that oily tone, but it's less abrupt. It's less in your face. And that is the type of, let's say, imagery or chord that I would want it to be more in my face. I absolutely love that kind of scent. Some call that refinement. Others, like me, miss the tough, rough and tumble in your face leather that Gucci Guilty Absolute is known for. It felt a little watered down to me, and I wish it had a lot more pop, to be honest, but at the same time, it makes it a little more complex of an opening because it has a lot more to it, a lot more moving parts. It opens up a few lanes here because that Gucci Guilty Absolute just envelops you, so it doesn't really give much of a chance to anything else to gravitate to your nose. This one, it opens up a lane for the jasmine. It has a floral tendency here. It softens up Dark Lord quite a bit, intermingles with the spicy, peppery Szechuan pepper. So that introduction has more moving parts, can make it a little more interesting and a lot more wearable for some. Now let's get into the heart of this release. In the heart, the leathery and vetiver combo, which is the 1-2 punch in Dark Lord. They come into their own, and they are the major players in this scent. The jasmine continues to shine in this mid and in the deeper dry down, and you get a mild splash of rum here, just a little bit. I didn't feel here calling this, I don't feel right calling this a boozy scent, and I know a lot of by Kilians can be. Here, not really a major factor, to be honest. Maybe with more wearings, and now that I have a full bottle, maybe I'll see more of that, but for now, we'll see. It goes much greener here in the dry down. I felt almost like a nutty vetiver aspect here. And I'm looking forward to delving more into Dark Lord and seeing more of its development. These Lucky Scent samples at times a little frustrating from, you know, how much you pay for these little samples. I wish I could get a couple mils out of them to have 3-4 wearings out of that. I lost that as life, and it gives me at least a good idea of what I'm getting into with a new release. So now let's get into the Revolver of Dark Lord. Let's take a look at seasons, day, night, versatility, and performance. So seasons, I feel like this is more for the cooler seasons, fall, winter, perfect for it. Even overcast spring night, it'll work. Day or night, more of a nighttime scent. Versatility, fairly average. It has way more versatility than Gucci Guilty Absolute, I have to say. The smoothness in this release and the more lanes it has kind of gives it more versatility, so it helps it in that aspect. Performance was good, 7 to 9 hours with average projection. At the end of the day, this is a leathery vetiver combo with some moving parts, some very good secondary notes that helped the primary. It's a solid scent, but I felt it was missing a little bit of oomph, especially with the name Dark Lord from the by Kilian line. I just felt like, oh, this is going to be, you know, something dark, rich. It's more smooth, and that's not bashing it, it's just my imagery is kind of little. I felt this one has much more complexity than the Gucci, but at the same time, the Gucci is much more challenging and much more up my alley. This is more about the blend, more about the secondary notes than the primary. It's interesting, but at the same time, I feel the designer counterpart wins here for me, at least early in this journey with this small sample. Now, as always with samples, I'd like to give a score, even though I already have a bottle in hand. If I had to give it a score currently, it would be an 8 bottles out of 10. I feel like it's a solid release from the brand, but it isn't one of its best. Now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below on Dark Lord. Please don't hesitate to give the good, the bad, and the ugly on this release. I'd love to hear your take. As always, a greater pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.